Thank you so much for joining us for another awesome episode of Bioenergetics Beat. I'm Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner. And this episode today is brought to you by Nikki. Unleash the Wellness Within. It's a non-invasive, easily affordable, and highly effective approach to optimize wellness. It's a wearable device that puts frequency better based life in your hands and on your wrists. You're going to want to make sure to stick to the very end because, as usual, we have an awesome giveaway. But as per usual, you're not going to want to miss one thing out of that my next guest here is going to have to say, because I know we're going to have a shit ton of fun. Ha ha ha. Sorry, the poop puns are already just going to start. No, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite topics, believe it or not, and it's gonna be educational. She's gonna blow your mind, I guarantee it. Welcome, Melissa, to the show.
Yay! Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I probably chased you down. I saw you at Cellcore's conference this last year and chased you down after your talk because there still just isn't a lot of people talking about detoxification, how horribly toxic it is to be constipated. Like, we still need to normalize this subject in a way if we're going to talk about getting people healthier. So God bless you and what you do, and having the guts to stand guts. Haha, to stand up there and talk about a normally kind of taboo subject.
Sure, yeah. If you had told me 10 years ago that this would be the platform that I was chosen to talk about, I would have scoffed and naysayed and probably run quickly away. My teen boys are slightly mortified that this is my role in the world, but I am here to talk about poop. I wrote a book called Start Pooping Better. It's really, really important. And people do talk about detox. There's tons of talk about detox, but what they're not talking about is what needs to happen before you can even approach a detox.
Amen, sister. I remember back in the day when I was first getting started on my journey, I was thinking about going back to school to be a hydrocolonic therapist. And my ex-husband at the time, he's like, "You really think you could shove a tube up somebody's butt for a living?" I said, "Yes, because I know all the benefits that go along with this. Like, once you get aside the ick factor, there's nothing in the world like getting a constipated person pooping again." So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got started in all this?
Sure. I started studying medicine back in the 90s. I'm a little on the older side. I studied in Boston at the New England School of Acupuncture and Chinese medicine, where I was introduced to root cause medicine, right? We never treat the branches of the tree. We always treat the root when we want a tree to be healthy. And so that was my very beginnings. My undergrad was studying education. So I always say I'm the best person to educate people about wellness because I'm trained on both sides. I developed Lyme disease in the late in probably 2009. We're not even exactly sure if I was bit by a tick, when I was bit by a tick. All I know is that I woke up one morning and my hand was numb. By the end of the day, my entire left side was numb. Tons of studies, blood work. 3 days later, I was back to normal. With some headaches and some fatigue, and as fast as it came, it went, followed by some very weird stomach pains. In my journey to get diagnosed, which took almost 5 years, 12 doctors, 3 states, including a week at the Mayo Clinic, multiple sclerosis was ruled out, stroke was ruled out, depression was ruled out. I was told point blank that I just needed to take an antidepressant and get more sleep. And finally, found a functional medicine doctor who first diagnosed me with mercury toxicity. I had incredibly high levels of mercury, and we were like, thank God we found the root cause, right? However, a bunch of chelation and a normal mercury test almost a year later, and still feeling rotten. She did a little more exploring, some better lab work, and found out that I had Lyme disease. And then I went to a specialist who found out that I not only had Lyme, but I had Babesia, Bartonella, and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And so I started down the path of a PICC line, which led to a massive blood clot in my upper chest that needed surgery. And worse than any of that, worse than even almost the Lyme disease, it ruined my gut so badly I couldn't poop. And because I couldn't poop, I couldn't do things with my friends. Because I couldn't poop, I couldn't eat most of the foods that I was normally enjoying. I found that almost everything upset my stomach. I went to the doctor and was told, you need to eat a little more fiber, drink more water, and just take Miralax. And I said, that will fix it? And the answer was like, well, it will resolve. And I said, well, how will it resolve? And so I went back to the functional doctor who said you should have come here in the first place, and did some in-depth gut testing and realized that I had destroyed all my good gut bacteria. I was growing a whole bunch of baddies in there, gut bacteria that didn't belong. I had a little H. pylori. I had my immune system, right, which is rooted in your gut, was destroyed. I had virtually no immune system, which I knew because that's what Lyme disease does anyway. And so through a process of healing and restoring my gut, I got my life back. Enough to realize that I also had parasites and mold, right? So I had gotten a better, maybe 80% better, and found Cellcore. And that's where, that's where my passion lies with the work that they do. And once I was able to detox the mold and the parasites, I reached an entire new level of health.
Absolutely.
That said, and there's very few things, I've tried almost all of it, right? And there's very few things that really have moved the needle for me. And then I was working with a doctor on optimizing my health, and I have tested positive for Lyme disease ever since I got my first positive test. And she said, that can't be right. You can't continue to test positive for Lyme. And I said, here's all my tests. Here's all my paperwork. And she said, I want you to try this device called the Wave 1. And I said, okay. And so I looked it up, and I had studied a little bit of frequency and healing and sound healing, bits and pieces here and there over the years. It made a lot of sense to me. And I thought, can't hurt, right? Can't hurt. I put that thing on, and 3 days later, I was leveled. 3 days later, I was reminded of why Lyme disease is so awful. It created a Herxheimer reaction for me. And I called the company and I said, what magic voodoo have you here? And they said, take a week off and then restart. Maybe it was longer than 3 days that I had done. Maybe it was like 8 days in. But I remember just being shocked, being floored. So I took a week off, and then I started the program over, and I've been using it ever since. That's been a year. April was a year, so that's a year and a half.
Yeah, with the
and then
OG, that's absolutely amazing. And what we've done differently with the Nikki is we've titrated it up differently, so that way people aren't getting a big of a Herx reaction. So we took that into account when we were working with folks, because the frequency stuff can be quite powerful.
It's really powerful. I mean, it's so powerful that I bought the Nikki watch, which I'm wearing. And to be honest, I have two of them. They have different frequency sets, because we got one. I was a speaker at the Echo conference, and we got one with some special frequencies. So I have one Echo watch and then the other one, and I use them all the time. Like I always feel like one of them's dead because I'm going back and forth between them. But people say, like, how does it work, or what do you notice? And I say, I don't know. I can't put it into words. But I'll tell you that I put it on every morning without even second guessing. It's now part of my routine. I wake up, I brush my teeth, and I put on my Nikki watch. It's been a game changer, the frequency healing. And I continue to share that with my clients as, I take them through their own healing journey, that yet it's another wonderful tool, because we do approach, when we talk about gut health, we obviously approach the physicality of it, what gut bacteria is there, what isn't. We always address stress level, which definitely affects bowels.
So what are some of some of your favorite frequencies?
Well, mine is set on energy. But I really like the morning, afternoon, and evening on my original watch, just to kind of I feel like it really syncs my day up. And sometimes I will notice, like, if I haven't changed from afternoon to afternoon in the morning, like it'll be like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Now it should be set on afternoon, but it's set on morning. And I kind of feel like I'm still zipping a little. And I'll look down, I'm like, okay, it's time for afternoon setting. I don't really use the sleep, because I use that on my Wave 1. My Wave 1 is set for sleep, and I wear that at night. But I just recently was using travel, and I was really surprised at how great I felt.
Amazing.
I took a long flight,
yep.
and I didn't feel ruined. I also took a lot of IRAD Chem binder. But I think the combo, right? Because we have to address it both ways, physically and energetically.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Well, that was an amazing first part of the story. I mean, you sound like so many of us on this Lyme journey. It's never just Lyme, right? If like that's the one thing people will ever understand, it is never just Lyme. And it's not just because you got bit by a tick. There was something underlining in the works years, decades beforehand that kind of made you a good host. And that's, perfect example of kind of what you were talking about, what you went through. So thank you for that. Stay tuned, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into it starts in the gut and, the main meat and potatoes of this talk. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name's Stephen Davis, founder and developer of Nikki, a personal frequency delivery system. This wearable is designed to deliver frequencies into the body to speed recovery from Lyme disease. Our Lyme suite of frequencies are the newest version of our Lyme recovery program. Thousands of Lyme sufferers, which include my family, use the Lyme daily to overcome Lyme disease. Today, I'm proud to announce a new suite of Lyme frequency sets that are going to be focused on co-infections. Nikki is loaded with Lyme daily, which deals with the Lyme disease, plus 9 additional frequency sets designed to address your worst co-infection symptoms. Those frequency sets include bacteria and virus, detox, emotional balance, gut health, histamine, mold and fungal, Lyme sleep, pain and stress. And we know that those are going to be well received from people with Lyme disease. We are passionate about speeding your recovery from Lyme disease. It's a terrible disease that no one should have to live with. Once you have used your Lyme daily, then choose from the 9 frequency sets designed to offer relief from your most persistent symptoms. The key is to stick with it. Don't frequency hop until you've used the Lyme daily. Best practice is use the other frequency sets for a minimum of 2 hours before switching to another. This is giving the frequency sets time to bring your body into balance. Good balance means good health.
Awesome. Welcome back. Like, wow, so much fun already in the beginning. Like, I can't even, like I said, pooping. I told you I was going to be a hydrocolonic therapist, coffee enemas, castor oil packs. I was basically constipated since I was 4 years old. My uncle committed suicide around that time, and my grandmother died of breast cancer. And there was a lot of early childhood trauma going on, and nobody was trying to figure out why this 4-year-old could poop. Instead they were just throwing laxatives down my throat, oils, stool softeners. And I that's why I became a functional practitioner, right? Is because getting to the root cause, right? Getting to the bottom so that way you can not just throw band-aids at symptoms. Like, what an ideal.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us a little bit about kind of what are some of the things that you're looking at? What do you mean by that it starts in the gut? Let's start there.
Sure, yes. I do my work now that I do, I seem to find people in the world who are struggling like I was, people who are undiagnosed, people who say to me, Melissa, I've been to every doctor, I've had every test, they can't find anything wrong with me, yet I have this litany of symptoms that make no sense, and the doctors tell me that I'm crazy, right? That's like, you're my people. If you're listening, come to mama. But here's the thing, right? They're all coming to me and none of them can poop. So it's impossible if you're listening out there and you're trying to treat something, even if it's something like a candida overgrowth and you are not pooping and you are trying to kill something, how do you expect that dead bacteria and all the chemicals that it's going to emit as those bacteria die out of your system if you're not pooping? Right? So my work in helping people get over things like Lyme and tick-borne infections, I can't do the work until they're pooping well. So it really starts in the gut. When people come and they have brain fog and anxiety and depression, I look at the gut. When people come and they have eczema and psoriasis and weird rash outbreaks and Hy-Vee things, I look in the gut, right? It always goes back to the gut. We need to always, that's what Hippocrates said. Healing starts in the gut.
Pisses me off still how many people, even at Lyme literate doctors. I had one client, especially Lyme literate doctor, constipated, started going to war, right, with the bugs, didn't alleviate her constipation first. Guess what happened to her? Like,
yeah,
it's
sicker.
horrible, right? It's horrible.
Yeah, it needs to be talked about. So, any work that you're doing, even if you say, like, I am in pretty good health and I want to do this weird detox that someone's sister's mother told me about, if you're not pooping, you can't detox. right? So you can't take any of those sort of processes to get your body better if you're not pooping.
Yeah. So why don't we dive deeper into that part, like this detox part of it, and why, and what are you kind of having to, what are some of the beginning steps that you need to, when you're talking about detoxing if a person's not pooping?
Yeah, let's first talk about actually what is good pooping, right? Because we don't
Fabulous.
ever, once our kids are potty trained, we stop. When was the last time you asked your high school kid, did you poop today? Are you pooping daily? Right? We just don't do it. So really, your kids could be walking around incredibly constipated. They're dealing with acne. You've taken them to a doctor. They've got them on antibiotics. And now they're trying to kill this bacteria, not pooping, and now they've got all kinds of gut problems, right? So what is good pooping? People should be pooping daily. I like my clients to be pooping in the morning. It makes sense rhythmically. It sets you up for a good day. It makes room for the food that you're about to put in your body when you can eliminate first thing in the morning. We set up in the programs that I run with the clients that I work with, we set up our rhythms so that we're pooping daily in the morning. Another thing people can refer to if you're not sure what your poop should look like is the Bristol stool chart. And it's going to show you number 1 through number 9.
I'm
One looks
surprised
like
that's not
little,
on your background there.
and I know I have to temper myself. But number 1 looks like goat pellets, right? That's dry, hard, constipated. You poop out a couple at a time. People will say, yes, I poop a couple times a day. But when you're pooping 2 tablespoons of goat pellets, that's not pooping. Also, when people say, sure, I poop every day, but it's liquid diarrhea, that also is not cutting it, right? You are losing all of your vitamins and minerals and a lot of your water if that is your situation. So if you look at the Bristol stool chart, it's number 4 that we're looking for. It looks like a snake. It should be long, it should be smooth, it shouldn't be too lumpy with cracked edges, and it should be a dark brown color. It shouldn't have blood in it, shouldn't have mucus in it, it shouldn't float. Right, so that's what we're really looking for every day, and that ensures that we're moving things out of our body on a regular basis and can begin to detox. That is the very beginnings. How else we detox? Through our urine, right, filtered by our kidneys. So making sure that your kidneys are chugging along is important if you're taking on a detox process. We detox through our skin, our largest organ, which is why we often see rashes when we're in the middle of a detox and elimination process, and through our breath. I think, did you have Sachin Patel on?
Oh yeah, I've had him on
Right?
for 3
He's so
times. Yeah,
fabulous. If
yeah.
someone's listening and they don't know who Sachin Patel is, go back and listen to that episode because wow, he was at our conference and he just changed the energy in the room by getting everybody to breathe together, and it was fabulous.
Yep, yep.
But we detox through our breath. So
Yeah,
that's
like
the very beginning.
multiple
Before you
pounds
take,
a day. It's kind of crazy.
yes. So before you think about taking a crazy supplement or doing a juice fast or whatever it might be, let's make sure the detox pathways are open. That's the very beginning.
People don't even realize I didn't for decades. I didn't sweat. And that's pretty common with people with mold issues and these other issues, not being able to sweat. And I thought that I was like a badge of honor. I'm like, oh, I don't sweat. No, you're supposed to sweat. So if you're one of those out there that can't sweat, you might want to look into learning how to get your body to sweat, because that is a very important detox part of the body.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah, and so that's where we start. We start by helping people to poop better. And when you go to the doctor and you say, "Why can't I poop? What's causing my constipation?" I was told, "We don't really know, but if you drink more water, eat more fiber, take some Miralax, it will resolve." And I asked when, and the answer was, "I don't know." And I left extremely frustrated. And in the course of the last couple of years, I've really done some digging into figuring out what are the root causes of constipation. Now, not talking about somebody who's had any kind of surgery and has adhesions, has some kind of physical blockage, right? For the average American who's experiencing now chronic constipation, why is it happening? There are 8 root causes. That's what we've identified. And I could talk about them for the next 4 hours, and I do in my programs, but I can talk about them, quickly to list them so people can start thinking along these lines. If you're listening and you're constipated, could it be, number 1, I'm dehydrated? right? Plain and simple. If you don't drink enough water, you're drinking coffee and soda. Not only that, but if you're not getting enough of the electrolytes and the sodium to get the water into your cell, you could be drinking water and it just be running through you, right? So there's good, better, and best for water. You know, nobody should be drinking tap water. I talk a lot about the Environmental Working Group. If you're not familiar and you're listening, it's ewg.org. If you go to their website, they have a tap water section. You can put in your zip code, find your water company, and take a look at what you're drinking on a daily basis. Mine is disgusting. I don't let my dogs drink tap water. That's
My
how
cat
bad it
doesn't
is.
drink top water either. My cat.
And I
And when
want to remind you that if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I don't drink tap water, everything is filtered. If you go to a local restaurant and you drink an iced tea or a soda or a coffee, they're not filtering their water. Like, you're drinking that tap water. So have a really good idea of what you're drinking in your community so you know how to better protect yourself and get those toxins out. So there's a lot. I could talk for hours about water and water quality. But that's a big reason people are dehydrated. And they say, like, well, I drink 8 glasses of liquid a day. And it turns out that what they're drinking is dehydrating them. So that's a big one. Nutrition, obviously, is a big one. Yes, the doctors are right. Fiber and water. Fiber and water will help you if not enough fiber and not enough water are the reasons that you're constipated. Usually has something to do with most people's constipation. Just like Lyme disease, we said that it's never just one thing, right? With constipation, it's rarely just one cause. I'll give you an example of a one-cause constipation is you've had a surgery, you take an opioid, you can't poop. Stop taking the opioid, you poop. Problem solved. That is a root cause. Medications are a root cause, and I encourage everybody who's dealing with constipation to have a conversation with whoever prescribed that medication and ask, could this be constipating me? Because a lot of times there are alternatives that you can take that would be less constipating or not constipating. It could just be the way it's working in your system. So hydration and medication. Nutrition, I said, but I want to talk a little bit deeper about it. You know, doctors say more fiber. If you don't have the right gut bacteria to digest those fiber, you might feel way more bloated when you try to go to a higher fiber diet, right? In that case, what you're needing is to take a look at what microbes are missing from your gut, which is another root cause, right? Dysbiosis, not having the right good probiotics that are doing the digesting of those fibers, and too many of what I call the baddies that are overgrown, is a reason people are constipated. So nutrition, hydration, medication, dysbiosis, demineralization is another one. You know, we hear a lot about magnesium, not enough about the other minerals. There was a big kick for a while there to take your 1-a-day vitamin. And most people, if you do a decent job, you'll get most of your vitamins from your food, but we're not getting the minerals that we used to get. Our world is just, our soil is too demineralized. Everything's been over-farmed. I recommend a multi-mineral supplement for all of my clients and extra magnesium. Sometimes if you just supplement the replete magnesium, your bowels will start working much better. However, it takes time. It's not a one and done. When we work with herbs and natural products, people need to remember it works with your body and works slowly. You know, so I think a lot of people give up too soon. But if you're listening out there and you're like, oh yeah, I don't ever take any minerals, I've never even thought about it, taking minerals and magnesium might be part of the root cause for your constipation. Another one is mold, right? You said it earlier. Mold and parasites, I kind of lump them together because I find a lot of people have both, but needs to be explored. Do you have a parasitic overload that's stopping your bowels? Do you have mold that's shutting everything in your body down? Getting rid of those two things, obviously, are big players in constipation. And then lastly, how's your liver function, right? Without adequate bile, we can't have adequate poop. So a lot of people have fatty liver disease in this country. We're eating processed foods. We're drinking too much alcohol. We have too much fat in the liver. Those cells swell, slows down bioproduction. So could that be a factor? That can be fixed with diet. That can be helped along with some pretty fabulous herbs. But we need to look at the whole picture, because for someone to say, you know, we don't know why you're constipated, I mean, is another way of saying we don't have time to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Because it's figure outable. There is always a why. You don't just not, you just, it's like, you're not just constipated for no reason.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I love, we were talking about this before we got on here. She hasn't been able to play with the new detox feature because it's on the Lyme frequency, which she doesn't have. And I decided to, or the gut health one, and I played with it all week long. And man, things have been moving along some better than they ever have. I was like, that's quite impressive. And the detox one is always my favorite too, especially when I go travel and I'm staying in some of these moldy hotels and I'm having to drink things that I wouldn't normally drink or be exposed to stuff. It's great having that peace of mind, knowing that I could just click that button and kind of set it and forget it. So it's awesome. I'm so happy that you're such a fan, and Cellcore, Nikki, like what a beautiful combination.
Really is, again, because you need to hit it from every angle. I also teach, and I think I didn't mention that another big factor for people in constipation is stress and anxiety. If you wake up in the morning and you set your alarm for 6 a.m. and you need to be out the door at 6:42 in order to make that train or in order to get to work on time, and you have a list and a litany of things to get done in the morning, there is no time to poop. You need to be making time to poop.
My girlfriend
Right?
was making fun of me because I went to go volunteer at Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton event, and they wanted us there at like 6 o'clock in the morning, which meant I had to get up at 4. And I said, no, I can't do that. I said, I have to have my bowel movement in the morning. She goes, you don't tell me you were scheduling your life around your bowel movements. I was like, you bet your butt I do.
You want to feel your best.
Absolutely.
You do. So I co-wrote a meditation with a meditation teacher of mine about seeing yourself fully healed. Right? It's a very important part. If you're listening to this and you are on a healing journey and you have no idea what it looks like at the end, good luck getting there. It's really, really important to understand that. You need to have a clear picture. And the only way to do that is to close your eyes and meditate on that. What does it look like when I'm fully healed? Is my voice clearer? Am I 20 pounds lighter? Am I standing taller? Am I vibrating inner health? Am I dancing on top of a mountain? Am I playing with my grandkids? What does that look like for me when I'm fully healed? When I take anyone through a healing journey, we work with the meditation. Because again, it's another important part is you have to believe and you have to tell your body, this is where we're going. And you do that right with your mind and your mind's eye. But stress and anxiety can really take your bowels down too. You wind up in fight or flight. You're faced with a tiger. You're not going to be like, excuse me while I poop.
Hold on a
So
minute.
it's important to be able to recognize that about yourself too. Like I'm waking up like I'm shot out of a cannon and it's not comfortable. My heart is racing, right? I'm like sweating by the time I get to the car. I can't live that way. Make a half an hour, get a half an hour of extra sleep on the front end so you can wake up a half an hour earlier in the morning. Shift yourself gradually. There are ways. But don't let yourself continue to be in that stressed out state and expect your body to do what you want it to do.
Amen. Mic drop right there. Melissa, where can people find you and learn more about what you're doing? And are you working on anything new right now? Are you putting anything out there?
I'm always working on something new. My latest ebook is at startpoopingbetter.com. Pretty catchy name. My website is my name, melissahallklepacki.com. You can find out all about what I do and offer. My gut health program launches a live cohort in September for people who are listening. You have to get in, I think, by the 22nd of September.
I don't think this will go out before then.
We won't make it. Yeah. So eventually there will be another one. And the same work that I'm doing in the group program, I offer to clients one-on-one. Gut
awesome.
testing, coaching, all of that.
That's incredible. Melissa, thank you for everything that you're doing in the world, and everybody else. Also, make sure to visit wearenikki.com/podcast. Make sure to enter in BioBeats to get 10% off. And because we love our customers, our way of showing appreciation is giving away a free Nikki with a wellness set of frequencies on every episode. So make sure to go check out the show notes so that you can learn how to enter. And good luck. Make sure to stick with us next time and have a healthy day. Thank you.
There's a new word for wellness, Nikki. Nikki, the bioenergetic wearable designed to help you feel better and perform better. Other wearables just track how you're doing. Nikki is about helping you do better. Touch the Nikki screen to choose the frequency you want for what you want to do and how you want to feel. Nikki puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better. Do better. WeAreNikki.com.
I have struggled with sleep for a while, so I do know that it affects everything, but having insomnia, that's something that I would never wish upon anyone. Like, until you don't realize how important sleep is until you lose it. And when you lose it, you really, really realize how much it affects everything. It affects everything within the next day. And then a few days after that, it just like, it creates this vicious cycle that you can't get out of. And so that was huge for me. And that was one of my biggest priorities of 2022, is trying to get my sleep back on track, and at least just sleeping for a few hours every single night, or not waking up every hour on the hour. And the very first day that I wore the device, I slept through the night, which is amazing.
Nikki puts a personal wellness center in your hands and on your wrist. Be better. Do better. WeAreNikki.com. The views, information, and opinions expressed in this content are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of FreeMedica. FreeMedica Technologies, Inc. and its employees are not responsible, nor verifies accuracy any of the information contained in the following content. The primary purpose of this content is to educate and inform. This content does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.